Waiting for you to arrive again.
Hey guys, Ben Wheeler, the Mercenary King, here with hopefully a much better lit series of deck profiles. Let's see, last time I did Dark Regular, so today we're doing Murakumo. I'm going to do my Absolute Defense Schwarzschild. No, wait, did I already do that? I really should have wrote down what I did. I'm certainly going to talk about my Starvaders. But for now, let's talk about Murakumo. So this is actually a build with Yasui and Bandit Ape, and we'll have some fun with it. Starter is Chain Sickle Stealth Rogue Onifundo. This is the best starter that Murakumo has right now. And, he does a lot of work for me. His ability is, at the beginning of your main phase, Generation Break 1, Soul Blast 1, return this unit into your hand. And at the beginning of the main phase, look at top 3, search for 1 card among them. Call it to rearguard, shuffle deck until end of turn, put that unit called back into the bottom of the deck. So basically what you can do is you can summon out copies that will be useful for you later for other cards' abilities. He happens too late for Yasui's abilities to go off, but I think that's on purpose, interestingly enough. However, if you can somehow get a G-Break 2 going, you can use his G-Break 2 ability with it. So, you just gotta play it right. So yeah, some people run more of him. However, I don't really feel comfortable with that, and I think that's kind of a waste, even though he's a perfect opportunity. And I prefer other cards to do that with. Flip. 4 heals. 4 Stealth Dragon Hidden Scroll. I think it's Hidden Scroll, but these people translated it weird. Put this unit in the top of the deck. When this unit is placed on rearguard circle, pay the cost. If you do, search for choose one of your rearguards not named Hidden Scroll. Search your deck for 2 cards with the same name as that unit. Call them to rearguard circle, shuffle deck, and at the end of the turn, put the unit called back to the bottom of the deck. Basically, it's a great way to cycle in sand triggers, which this deck will rely on, as well as get a whole bunch of copies of Bandit Ape out, who is pretty interesting to say the least, as a promo. Run 4, of course, and then I run 4 of the Dart Spiders, who go into the Soul for a plus 3k. However, I don't really use their ability all that much, unless I feel I need to use an Onifundo somehow next turn. One other stand, a Karakasa Spirit. This is real creepy art. 3 crits just for the surprise factor. I find that 3 of a trigger that you don't need too many of, but like to have, really does a lot of work in a deck, whereas 2 is too few. Flip. 1 Obero card, Counterblast 1, choose something other than Obero card, search for a copy, call it to rearguard, and then put it at the bottom of the deck. Basically, he's to help me get copies out when I might have trouble otherwise. 4 Stride Enablers, to search out Yasui and also to help Stride. This basically gives me 12 opportunities to stride. I don't really copy them all that much. Stealth Beast Charcoal Fox. When this unit, G-Break 1, when this unit is placed on rearguard, search for choose up to 4 Charcoal Foxes and they get plus 2k. Basically, you have one. Actually, he gives it to himself. Okay, so plus 2k, then plus 4k plus 2k, plus 2k, 4k, 6k, 2k, 4k, 6k, 8k. That's how it works. I had completely forgotten it wasn't another. 4 Perfect Shields. I just run the normies because this deck doesn't counterblast that often, and because I don't want to pay for the special ones. Quintet Walls are worthless. 4 Stealth Rogue of the Flowered Hat Fujino. Okay, Fujino. When another of her is placed, this unit gets plus 2k. So it's plus 2k, plus 4k. I'm sorry. Nothing. Plus 2k. And then plus 2k plus 4k. and then plus nothing, plus 2k, plus 4k, plus 6k. Basically, it's like Charcoal Fox, except it doesn't give power for just being there. Also, when it gains the ability, when this unit attack hits a Vanguard, choose a card from the damage zone, turn it face up. Now, this means that it will go off guaranteed multiple times. However, it only really use one counterblast and then two counterblasts for Homer or Rogue, and then one counterblast for the occasional Obero card, who I don't really use that often. But she can do work, and she becomes a really big target. With Kagamajishi, she can do a lot of work. For Tenjiku Stealth Rogue Dokubo, he's a 12k attacker for G-Break 1, and I run him simply for power and numbers. Also, because there isn't really a lot of good slots in this set, unlike in Hayaki Vogue, and the things that search out a grade 3, I just don't like. I feel they're too much of a minus. This deck is built on power and drawing rather than shenanigans as much as anything else, so I feel that he's a better choice. However, that one Fires Collection grade 2 that can choose another copy of it in itself and then send him to the bottom next search out a grade 3, that could work. Let me actually... I'm sorry, I don't have any on me at this time, but we'll it's a potential thing. Also, I run for the 10Ks. Early game defense as well as a good copy target. It'll hit any rear guard, basically. Now, for the combo, these guys work in tandem. This is the ace I prefer, but this ain't bad. Stealth Beast Bandit Ape. Put this unit in the bottom of the deck. When this unit attack hits a Vanguard and you have a Murakumo Vanguard, you may pay the cost if you draw a card. So basically on hit, whip, and you draw a card. Or draw a, it's in that order. Whip. What I do is I always try to have one of him down if I go first, or I just relax about it if I'm going second, or try to hit it with Onifundo. But basically, there's a couple of different ways to get him out, and the main one being Hidden Scroll, as well as Obero card and Yasui. But Yasui doesn't always work. But what he does do is pretty interesting. When a rear guard is put into your deck due to an effect from one of your cards, this is his G-Break 2 skill. Once a turn, search for one card with the same name as that unit and call it to rear guard, shuffle deck. So let's say that you have one of him out. Whatever you did else, you sent it to the bottom of the deck. This isn't really bound by end of turn, I just realized. So what you could do is, let's say that you swing, and you have two Bandit Apes. Let's say you give plus 5k there. It has a booster. 15k to Vanguard. It hits, goes in, whatever. But then you can summon it back out and then attack with a booster. It's pretty great. A lot better than I thought it would. However, if you do it during the end game, that's fine. And if you're stridden over it, obviously the ability doesn't work. Counterblast 1, when this unit strides, you may pay the cost if you do. Choose one rearguard, search for 2 copies, call them the separate rearguard circles, shuffle deck, end of turn, call them to the bottom of the effect. Now, that's his main sort of bread and butter on the stride deal. However, I'm not worried about that ability as often as everything else. Oftentimes, early game, I don't have any field there worth anything to summon up. So it's a bit less for obviously. Bit less I use that guy than compared to Hidden Scroll, Bandit Ape, or Obero card. Even though I run one of, he does show up. However, one of his best skills is running with strides. Now, I was running 2 of these, that's right. Now, I'm running these numbers right now. However, I would like 4 of him. I'll start with I'll start it off like this. 2 Madu, just in case I run in a Bandit Ape. I can pay a Bandit Ape to summon out a Bandit Ape, to summon out a Madu, and then return the Madu to my hand, because what its ability is, if you have a heart with original 10k or less, choose a grade 3 from the drop zone, put it into your hand. And that's all it is. There's not much else to talk about it. It's pretty great. I would like to run, however, 4 Kagamajishis. When this unit is placed on when a unit is placed on rearguard, and if you have 2 or more units, including itself, by the way, with the same name, it gets plus 2k, and this unit can attack from the back row. Let's consider Bandit Ape and Hidden Scroll. So let's say that we have whatever we stride. Let's say that we stride a Yasui. We put down a Bandit Ape from our hand. Then let's say that we have a Hidden Scroll in hand. We place this, search out 2 more copies. This guy doesn't get anything, but these 2 that I've summoned will get plus 2k and can attack from the back row each. So what I often have is a column of like Bandit Apes right here, or Bandit Ape booster, Bandit Ape behind the Vanguard, Bandit Ape that I didn't summon, so that you have a lot of stuff. And let's say that we have like a Charcoal Fox here, Charcoal Fox there. So it's like a 11k booster here, 9k booster there. That's a 21k with the 12k attacking from the front that you use first. And of course they want to block stuff, so they don't want you to draw. So that's why you run stands for multiple attacks. Lastly, what we run is Homura Raider, of which we have 4. This deck doesn't do well when dealing with the long game. Well, I mean, it does a good long game, but there's a lot of deck out problems as well as management of resources that sort of, don't work as well as they could. So what this guy does is counterblast 2, flip over a Homura Raider, turn it face up. If you have 2 or more face up cards in your G zone, this gets, by the way, you can do that multiple times, much like the Nova Stride. However, I don't recommend it, as that would leave you pretty much without counterblasts, as well as pretty weak otherwise, as well as the fact that even though it brings you down to G1, that's you don't have a lot to go on afterwards. At the end of the battle, this unit attacked a Vanguard. You may choose one of your rear guards. If you do, choose 3 rear guards, same name. Return it to your deck. If you return 3 or more cards, stay in this unit shuffle deck. You can use triggers, you can use Bandit Apes, you can use whatever you want, just as long as there's 3 of the units. And I guarantee you that if you're not, wasting information and stuff, wasting resources, you should be able to get that off pretty much all the time. I've never had a problem with it personally. I'm running a fairly weird build. This is a budget deck. Yasui is cheap as butts, and Bandit Ape is worthless. Everything else is cheap. There's nothing really double rare besides this guy, and this guy might be the most expensive not rare common, and you don't really need him. However, I think he's just the best in the choice. Lake Diver would also be a good choice if you decide to go more Homura Raider. But yeah, this is my budget Murakumo build. I do get a lot of fun with it. Just make sure you have 4 Kagamajishis, I think, for the most ideal situation. Ben Wheeler, the Mercenary King, out.